The year is 2018. We're in the 21st century, but you already knew that. So, anyway, you may have noticed a glaring gap between the type of literature in the 21st versus the literature in the olden times. Oh, really? You mean to tell me writing changed over time? Yes, exactly just that. Because literature of the 21st century pretty much embodies the whole century itself, because it's nihilistic, edgy, depressing, argumentative, and full of random individuals or things we don't really understand to its full and deep and brilliant content. Yes, I am of course referring to none other than Twilight. Haha, big joke. I mean literature that goes deeper into the human mind. Hidden poems like She Only Wanted to Be Happy, a somewhat unknown piece talking about a bigger kind of battle royale rather than the ones fought in underpants back in the olden days. I mean, who are these guys anyway? Moving on, She Only Wanted to Be Happy is a poem about how this one little girl is dropped into this world unarmed and helpless into a downward spiral of sadness that comes from her dead father, depressed mother, and psychologically ill brother. Some kids harass her and bully her until she counterintuitively takes the pain away by cutting, screaming in pain, and evidently killing herself through hanging. Now, that does sound like an extremely depressing made up story where all the pieces are cliches that would have to fall together to make sense, but hear me out. You see, 21st century literature is such a simple concept. You see, humans have a bad tendency to overthink themselves in an effort to stand out from the crowd. Like, ooh, I need to wear this so I look good for that. No, wait. Why don't I just learn to act like this, to look attractive to that, or sooner or later maybe someone's going to appreciate me? Yeah? No? Well, 21st century literature delves into that idea that everyone eventually ends up seeking attention and being self-conscious about themselves to a point where it damages them sociologically. It tries to talk about how humans perceive each other socially and how little actions lead to bigger points and effects until eventually someone can't take it anymore and breaks down. Kind of like in A Monster Calls. A story about a preteen boy who unknowingly skips into a storm of unfortunate events, dilly-dally hoping that eventually the pain would stop and he'd be happy. This boy's name is Connor. Now Connor acts similarly to the little girl in the previous story, except instead of taking it out on himself, he sort of kind of does whatever this is. Well, jokes aside, he doesn't feel the attention he seeks. Because, well, number one, his mom is dying, number two, he's being bullied constantly, and number three, he's depressed and he wants to die. Over time, Connor learns to accept that yes, people around you are complicated. They don't promise anything. The world is as bleak and as dark as all those gritty cyberpunk movies, and everybody dies in the end. Our third and final piece would be the American teenage girl experience called Miss Marvel Kamala Khan. Now, it's a comic book novella about a girl who goes through the everyday struggles and pressures of assimilation and fitting in while retaining family background, family history, and family religion at the same time. Now, this means that she does experience the stresses of being an individual while also trying to fit into various cultural communities, which may or may not conflict with each other while trying to balance her regular life in school, relations, and personal development. And oh yeah, she has powers. Wait, I mean, how the hell could you be sad with all of this? Despite being discriminated for her religion and cultural background, she drives to become a better person, a better hero for the people, and a better personality, as it's based on her parents' teachings, her inner strengths, her values, and not just her labels. Just like in current society today, in the 21st century, we live in a world where humanity itself is divided and labeled with a lot of roles. Humanity is cut into groups of gender roles, religion, and class. And as humanity further delves into this practice of division and classification, we forget who we truly are. We're supposed to act as a single social institution that generally supports each other's goals and or beliefs. Instead, we rather envelop ourselves with the thoughts of what others think of us and how we think of others, further moving away the idea of society that lives as a union formed in increasing work in hopes of achieving a greater good. And that's what 21st century delves into. It acts as a gateway to see how we act towards each other socially, and how they all feel towards our actions.